Thank you, everyone. I'm talking about how a beginner as me learn real-time concepts to contribute for open source application. Yes, I'm tweaking a little bit because this open source application it's built for myself. And yes, I'm Herminio Torres, and I'm a Brazilian. Thank you, thank you. I'm a software engineer in Simple Bat, and I'm co-hosting the podcast. It's called Elixir in Foco, and we record our podcast and put on YouTube, and you can listen us and using some transcription for your native language. Unfortunately, we use Portuguese at least for now, but I hope soon we doing some interview in English. So let me drive a little bit. In 2020, yes, we had the COVID, unfortunately, and because of that, I have a lot of time to spend for my own in my home. And I decided to learn English since by 2020, and just not only English, but Elixir too. And for that, for at least last year, I used this platform Uber to be attending for some conference like CodeBean or ElixConf Europe. And I felt inspired for some features they have there in this platform. And I decided to fly solo to improve my knowledge learning Elixir. And this time I discovered this technology called LiveView. And I see it's so nice comparison to the language I normally use before changing for Elixir, because I came from Ruby and Rails, and we use for most applications like asynchronous or delay things to not put on things in real time. And I like to pitch Marlos when we interviewed him in our podcast. And he thought using LiveView to run real-time applications, it's so easy. And I can agree more with him about that, because it's so easy to use LiveView to build things very fast and in real time. So I decided to run my side project, and I put on this name, Tapebas. Tapebas, it's an indigenous tribe, and they live in the old central from my state, Ceará. And I like to put on the name to remember what my origins come from. Well, what is the real time? I think real time has three ingredients to make this very good sauce. And it's you need to clients to initiate the connections for your backend servers. You need to backend servers, and you need to communication layers just only to between the client and the server, and sometimes server to server when you consuming some, making some ingestion for your data for third parties. And one of the things I learned from this mentoring group, Elixir chat, and I saw and using the first time there when Sophie, as a mentor there, and she talking about how PubSub works and how we can use Phoenix application with PubSub. It's just there. It's starting for your application. You just don't need anything. And for PubSub, we have two steps, two moments to use PubSub. The first one, when you have a subscriber, and this subscriber subscribes some topics they are interesting or something like that. And the second part, when PubSub, it's sending message for the topic, and the topic broadcast this message for everyone subscribe the topic. And another thing I learned for this mentoring groups, it's called Phoenix Presence. And it's nice to see Phoenix Presence because it's a real challenge to use comparison to using different technology like Ruby or other routes, and to tracking your connections. You open connections with your server and see if they have skip alive or not, or someone is laughing or join your connections. And I see this functionality is really good to put on, like chatting and things like that, when you can use to telling when someone is typing a message for you, or even a normal chat like Discord or something like that. And it'd be very challenged to build this thing in different technology for sure. And this is the topology for using presence. You have a client connection, and this client connection start to being tracking for your LiveView and subscribe a topic, and you can use some metadata to spread this communication when you doing some broadcast and something like that, to keep this user these connections being tracking for presence. And they send back this list for someone is been tracking before this new connections established with the server, and the others connections, it's live for the server to receive this broadcast with the list for users, subscribers. And I like to show the application I starting to build. It's work in progress for sure, and I like to show some functionalities I've been working on as a side project to learn to programming and understand and learn Phoenix and LiveView for sure. For last year, in this Elixir chat group, and I doing some side project there with Sophie, and we use LiveView to construct a game. It's called Battleship, and we play a little bit wired for building this Battleship application, because we just not only build for two persons using the Battleship for both. We do multiple play games, so you can play Battleship with more than two people. In January, we using this Battleship to play with just only for two people, and we decide to. It would be nice if we have more people playing this game. And there we using a couple of these functionalities to deliver the real time. And I like to invest more time to just not only improving my knowledge to understand and see the difficulties. It's different when you programming with other, like pair programming, or you have a support for someone to solving your issues or difficulties you have. Is very different when you develop for yourself. You need to face your difficulties and solve for your own. And just not only that, but you can work on end-to-end, like starting a developer application, put on in GitHub or versioning, and not only that, but working on for CI/CD, make this deploy part. I saw most people talking about in the past how difficulty is doing some deploy using Elixir, comparison to others language for sure. And here you can see we have this initial page and list the events, and I create some events here. When I think this talk about real time, I just only focus on, oh, would be nice, I just put on things using PubSub or Presence, but real time, it's a thing respond very fast for you, no matter what. So I use this form when I starting to hit some letters to put on the title for my event. I know that this is the real time because I receiving response very fast. This is good because I can use some bindings for the client side to using the communication layer between the client and the server. And it's good because I just needed to put out my rules from one side instead of put on in both sides, client and the server. And sometimes if in some part change this rule, we screw for our data. We save in our database. We have this inconsistency. Unfortunately, this is good because I can put on my rules for the server side and use this to help and give this feedback for users how this person can fit in this form. I always have extravity when I feed in some forms and they ask kind of my phone number and what I need to put on here. Even they have some placeholders. I need to put on mask or without mask. I need to put on my country code or not, or my state code for my phone number, things like that, you know. And I think the last event we have after impacts, it's code bean, India. And I can save this. And instantly fast, I get all the events and update the page. And we can solve this in real time if I create another event here. And I use PubSub to spread and update any connections is open for my application. Like it's the same Twitter using the timeline for sure. And you can see both connections open and see at the same time being sync update. And when we open the event, we can see the talks for the person and the title of the talk. I put on the descriptions and I put some labels to distinguish between keynotes, beginner, advanced, and so on and so forth. And you can like the talk you like, enjoy most the talks. This part of I decide to not using PubSub to everybody knows I could use this to counting on likes for people as attending to like this presentation, this talk. And it's nice to some organizers, something like that, to collect this data as a survey to send for the speaker, see how many people enjoyed their talk. And this is nice because when I use the UVA application, this is one the functionalities I like most, and see it would be a good fit for some local meetups. I've been part of coordinate local meetups for my city, my town, Fortaleza. And yes, we use in general Zoom to make virtual, at least now yet. And I just only use one display. It's hard to see some questions. Because I use one display, it's hard to use Zoom to see questions. People send questions. I need to switch my presentation and Zoom, and they put on this overlays for my entire display. It's hard to use in there to be doing this back and forth for my presentation and the questions. And it's easy to use this application to feed this necessary. It's hard word to me say for sure. And I could use my phone to connect this application and see the questions people send to me, and just not only me can answer these questions, but someone can start in some conversation there, you know, or even though I don't know how properly answer these questions for someone sent to me, but other person experienced this in their jobs or in the past can answer this question for me. And the other thing I think of working on this application, because I'm a Chinese person, very kind of a heart attack right now to speak with you guys, for sure. I'm very nervous when I did prep for my co-workers. I always missing some English word or my entire speak from my presentation. And it's nice because I always be afraid for make some questions for the speaker or someone presenting something. And it's nice because I could use this application to send this question. Sometimes the speaker consuming the entire time, and people like to make some questions is not have time. I know someone can go for this person and make for face-to-face, but sometimes you don't have this strong enough to make this question face-to-face. And yes, it's nice to put on this feature here. This is a work in process, I told. And basically this functionalities are almost being used PubSub for events, talks, and questions and comments. And the other thing I been working on recently, it's like a chat for people in the conference, because I think chat would be nice to put on in my side project, because when I go for some conference and they be so big conference and they have too much open space, and it's hard to chatting with someone in the same conference, or be on the spot, come to see me, or I go to see you in person, or even make some suggestions to lunch instead of being alone, or something like this, or make some suggestions when you are a native for this town. For someone it's foreign for the town, it's nice to get these tips. And yes, this much is it. And using Phoenix Presence is nice because you can see when someone join, I put on this person is joined, and if the person left, we see it's updating when it's finished the connection for sure. And you can type and send some message, and I can update the list for the users that are online right now, and you can send a message for direct this person. Wrapping up, and this is the GitHub, and you can use the QR code to access my GitHub for my application, and I like to see more contributions or issues to discuss new features and put on my application in better proof. And I like to finish in a Portuguese word. Thank you.